Welcome home, y'all. It has been such a great, fruitful week of discussion here on Native Land Pod. And so I know if you listen to our main episode, we said that we were going to talk about leadership styles. And then we got into a discussion on the whole Black men, Black women dynamic. And I don't know. I feel like these two conversations somewhat intersect. You all correct me if you think I'm wrong. But we had Cornell Belcher on, a brilliant pollster who runs a Brilliant Corner Strategy, and he was on with Gabrielle Wyatt, and they had done this really interesting poll about Black women. And Andrew, you made a really good point about, well, wait a second, like I hear in Cornell's point about Black women center community, but you gave a shout out, like, let me just say, Black men were leading until policies harmed them. And, there were still, even after that, Black men were leading, but policies eliminated a lot of Black men. Yeah. And so that's where we pick up on the MiniPod.
I think I appreciate that, and great summary again, Tiff. It really wasn't to rebut what was stated. I just think we have to do a more deliberate job at contextualizing why a thing is a thing. Like, we didn't just wake up one day and Black men disappeared themselves from our neighborhoods. And, I think about my granddaddy, my mom's dad, who... My grandmother was a housemaker, raised 18 head of children, my mother being the last of them. My granddaddy, who ran a gas station and did lawn maintenance on the weekends, and together in partnership, not before women were leading, but rather in partnership, they were leading a household and building neighborhood and community. And Black men didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm done with that. I'm tired of it. Right? There always been trifling folks, right? Papa was a Rolling Stone. I remember the lyrics from that before I even knew what any of that, meant. So I'm not repainting a picture.
All he left us was alone. Does that mean ALONE or alone? Like, he took out alone and left it to us?
Nah.
Oh Lord, that would be real bad.
I ain't buying that one. But I would say,
alone.
I just think the threat that we represented as a structure, as a image to be revered, was such an intimidation to the structure that existed, that these folks had to develop deeply seated plans to create like industries principally focused on breaking up that partnership. And not just a marriage partnership. I just mean as Black men and Black women who were modeling, not always perfectly, we have our issues, but who were modeling what it meant. In that poll we saw earlier in the episode, Black women were prioritizing fairness. They put fairness above DEI. When it came to priorities, I just want to be treated fairly in this place.
Yeah.
That they developed these structures that has bastardized fairness, has bastardized us being in these places, and then did some jujitsu to make what is our strength and their weakness their biggest strength. Coming after us about don't even earn it, when the truth is your children aren't getting into the colleges that you want them into. Your daughters and sons are not coming home and sleeping on the couches, and you want them out. And the lie that you have said that you are better than everyone else on your worst day is coming home to roost, that it was always a lie. Now they're competing with us. Now they're learning what it means to try to earn a slot, even though all the structures have been built and designed for their aggrandizement and advancement. And so what do? They say, let's get rid of them. Hey, take all the diversity, all the inclusion, and then my son and my daughter will get back to their rightful place in society. Well, if that didn't earn it, I don't know what is.
Yeah, everything you said, Andrew. I mean, I completely echo that. And, the point I made in the episode that dropped earlier this week is we are a hurt people. We are carrying so much pain around, generational pain. Sure. Our time in this country, was started in strife, and it taught us to love just a little bit because our love was a weapon. And if I birth this child, I'm nursing this child, I'm caring for this child, and I know at any minute you can snatch this baby from me and sell my child off while I'm raising your kids, that teaches me I got to love a little bit. If you a man and it's like, I love this woman, this is my wife, we have a family here, and I know at any minute this white man could come along and rape her and impregnate her, I can only love her a little bit. We are carrying that level of pain with us. We've never really had a collective healing. So that's why when I hear some of these asinine comments coming from some of these podcast bros and, you know, some of this very toxic space in the community, I have a lot of frustration and a lot of hurt because my brother, I'm not your enemy. Let's keep in mind who the enemy is. But I also have care. I got to care about you from a distance. I can't always engage people who appear to hate me, but I do have to consider this is coming from a place of trauma. And so to me, if we are turning Black love into a weapon, you know, that people can't stop and celebrate Black women and what we do. And as Black women, like we're holding your pain and everybody else's pain because we see what the state is doing to you because the state is doing it to us. Because when it happens to you, it happens to us. We feel it.
I would suggest, Tiffany, also that some of the hurt that is being expressed and quite frankly, righteous frustration with the fact that the only time you're talked about is in proximity to a Black woman or as opposed to a Black woman, that just as Black women exist as individuals, their joy can rise and fall all on its own. Well,
what do you mean in
what I mean by
women?
that is my frustration that I am experiencing right in this very moment about the systems that have colluded to knock us down at every opportunity. Us, but I'm speaking very specifically about Black men here, not in juxtaposition to Black women, is a terror all on its own, without ever factoring in what my romantic relationship is, who I've hurt in that, because white men have toxic behaviors and white women do too, and so do Black women, and so on and so forth. I'm saying when the hurt comes, or what you interpret as hurt, might be really just righteous indignation about a system that is weighing on me, absent what it's doing to a Black woman. And even that Black men are allowed to have these emotions without it being in juxtaposition to how they were treated, who they dated, what happened in that dating experience, but as individual humans being able to experience a fierce emotion that ain't got nothing to do with the women or men that we may date.
Wow, you might have been too deep for me there because I'm thinking about that. And it's true when I think about Black men, I do often think through the lens of Black women. I think of the woman who raised you. I think of your counterpart, you know, who you're attached to. Yeah, Angela, what you got?
I just wanted to remind you all that even though I need to get out of my hotel room, I am still here. So I was like, I would tap me in. This is a good conversation.
Yeah, jump in. I want to go for it. Yeah.
I'm trying to do better than Andrew. Be like, yo, hey. But,
no, girl, jump in.
No, it's so good, and it's funny, Tiff, because I don't know where it comes from, but I feel like we talk about it a lot, especially in our friend group. I feel really protective of Black men, like really protective of Black men. I think some of it is the relationship with my dad, like even growing up, there would be, he's
all
very,
Black men.
you think? I don't
think
say
she's got
like
a default setting for
for sure,
protection.
for sure a default, for sure.
Because
whether
I've heard
asked
you,
or not.
Because I don't know, because I've heard you like really go after some Black men who you just don't feel like represent. You know, I experienced you as having a protection.
Clarence the hoochie? No, I'm not feeling protective of Clarence.
Uncle Clarence.
I think we can agree, Angela,
I'm not
your
talking
default
about
setting
him.
Is definitely to
protect and defend Black men.
I think there are some men, but I've also heard, which we disagree on. I don't want to raise it again because I don't want it to get, but I'm going to just say it if y'all don't. Well, but this is the one I'm thinking about. Like we were talking about Black men and you were like very protective of like Charlemagne, for example, but like went after Plies. Like you don't, so I wonder like where does that protection?
I don't feel like I went after Plies. I feel like I had questions.
Don't drink. Don't circle the drain.
And we told him to come on the podcast. I don't feel like
I
I'm
want to hear your
you.
bigger.
Excuse me.
Your bigger
I
point.
know.
Let me hear
I can't
Angela.
because
Go
now
ahead.
we're in this. So let me just stay here for a moment to make sure it's really clear. I don't have an issue with Plies. I've said he should come on the podcast. I think that it is interesting how he chooses to show up and win. But if he wants to be a social media influencer, I support it. Right. I think that, but I don't feel anything to Plies. Like he welcome to say to the people, he can write a black paper if he got something to say. But I do want him to, if he's comfortable with it, to blend more with who he actually is and the persona is it. And I think I would say that about anybody. I love authenticity. And so, and I think that's the main thing. So if there was a criticism, it would just be that. But all respect to the brother.
Okay.
So sorry, I don't know what moment.
My bad. Go back to your. I didn't mean to mess up the original point.
Okay. I think it's important. Like I think one of the things I love most about our show is we give each other the space to work through out loud our hypocrisies and our blind spots. So I think if there's a blind spot, call me on it. My blind spot is defending the brothers, and I will definitely do that. I think to a fault. So I was wondering where it was coming from and kind of wrestling with that. I think a lot of it has to do with my dad. I'm definitely a daddy's girl. I love my mama, but I'm definitely a daddy's girl. And I feel like my mom is more discerning and intuitive. And I think that is a natural thing that Black women have. Like we can see the thing before it's coming and y'all just ain't got it. So I be having to look out for y'all. Like, don't cross that street right there. Is a car coming both ways. And I think that's happened with, what'd you say?
We got a different skill set.
Yeah, you do. And Andrew leaves his phone 80,000 times in one day. It's stressful. And one and the same, my dad is like that with human beings. It could be somebody who just stabbed him in the back and he's like, oh, you can have my last dollar. And I'm like, no, forget them. So I think there's a natural protection. And I'm like that about all my friends and loved ones. But it's especially true for Black men. It is especially true because I'm just like, I don't know if they see the same. Tiff, I know you discerning and peeping the scene. I love y'all, but I be concerned. So I do think that's true. And
what if we don't ask for it?
You never asked for it. I'm so sorry. I have a natural disposition to do this. Good luck. You can tell me you don't need it and I'll try to fall back.
No, I mean,
there are times where I don't see things. There are times where we've been on stage together and I'm starting to say this and you're like, okay, Tim, like, let's go this way. And I don't know why. I just like, okay, well, I'm not going to say it right now, but you'll tell me later. We all see things for each other. But I definitely think you have like almost anxiety around the people that you care about. To like, I'm a leapfrog ahead and stop this thing from happening, which sometimes you can't. Sometimes people got to fall, sometimes people got to get burned. So I haven't experienced it that you are protective of Black men more than you are of Black women. I would describe you as somebody who is protective. But it is hyper. There's some hyper vigilance.
I think partly.
Period.
I'm not a Black man, so maybe I haven't experienced that from you. But
of course I've experienced it, and what I would say is, I think you are justice. You pursue justice. You're fully aware of the narrative that Black men didn't earn, but are often hit with. And I think as part of your default disposition is you're not going to contribute to the continuation of that kind of abuse. So you're like, okay, wait. I know what you read, I know what you heard, but let's set the table again. Let's give this thing a chance. And I definitely feel like you have it more towards Black men. I guess what I would caution is, some things do need to play out, period. But similar to how I said a couple of weeks ago that I think we sometimes coddle too much in the electoral process, those who are confronted with economic hardship and and all the reasons why it is that they could give as to why they choose not to vote or participate in the process or to go, the extra. And I'm not accusing anybody, but the point was to say, we have to treat everybody with the same expectation that if you want this thing, you got to go get it. And when you remove the incentive or lessen the incentive for the person to have to show up on their own to do a thing, so that you can walk away with an impression about them that they go getters or they not. They hitters or they not. They're, or in this moment, they're those things. And the intention to make the way just a little bit easier, and some instances could be the harm. I don't mean it. I don't mean, when I say it, in some instances to be the harm, it could be keeping someone from the thing that they absolutely needed to go through to get to the next thing.
Okay, but sorry.
And by the way, Angela, I don't mean this as a criticism of you. I actually mean this both ways for men and for both men and women who protect, because I'm a very protective person as well. And I think sometimes, like, you know what? They may needed to have gone through that thing by doing it their way. And it doesn't mean their way would have caused them collapse and fall on their face. Their way could have taught me a new way. But we will never know whether their way could have worked.
I'm curious, Angela, your response, because I maintain, I do know, but now that you're saying this, I do notice a difference between me and Andrew, but I never put it in the category of men and women. I put it in the category of Andrew is going to lose his phone. Andrew is used to having staff around him take care of everything. So Angela's like, did you get this? Did you get that? Did you get that? That is what Andrew, that's her way of protecting Andrew. But I don't feel less protected by you. Like, I still feel like, if anything is happening, like, you're going to say something. If I'm saying something that you don't want me to say, I feel like you are right there. You're just a protective person.
Maybe
I hear you, though. I acknowledge.
Maybe it's defensive then. Like, I think that and I don't want to center me in this, because I think that the bottom line is there are some experiences that Black men have had in this country, and therefore so have Black women. But, this is about to devolve us into some mess, but I'm just to be really honest.
Go for it.
I don't believe all women. I don't believe all women, especially when Black men have been on the receiving end of harm that has caused them a violent death in this country. I still don't believe all women. I think that the experience around, just the appearance of someone and perceiving that they are, threatening innately. And my disposition is to naturally say, hey, brother, how you doing? To make sure people know that he's safe. And that's not cool either, because we shouldn't have to require that of them. That, like, even in my professional development program, we get so many young women who apply. And I find myself kind of catering to the young men to make sure they're heard, because there's only a few of them. And I want to make sure they go back and tell their friends to come back around. So I don't know what that is, but there's something about making sure when they did beat the stereotype, when they do deserve a chance, that we just give it. So I don't know if that's protective or not, but it's something. And I don't think that's centering you, because so many women feel like what you're saying. I think you're representing a lot of women. I don't think as Black women, we have the privilege of believing all women, because on our side of the gender divide is one of the most dangerous predators, and that is white women. If you go to the EJI, the Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery, Alabama, and this is one of the largest hallowed grounds, comprehensive memorial dedicated to people who were terrorized by slavery and who were lynched during a certain time period. 90% of the reason behind the lynchings is white women. Somebody said he whistled at me. Somebody said, like, Emmett Till was not singular. It wasn't an anomaly. It was the common thing. So no, I think because, again, we carry that trauma and pain with our brothers. Journalist and anti-lynching crusader Ida B. Wells noted in her 1892 pamphlet, Southern Horrors, that 1/3 of the charges against Black men were for the rape of white women. And investigations found that most of those relationships were consensual. So, we can't do that, now somewhere in that journey, we lost our way, I have to say. And in our effort to protect Black men, we forgot to protect ourselves. And some of us, I would argue, forgot to protect Black women,
because there are, quite frankly, Black women who are harmed by Black men. And when I hear these comments about some of the people in the limelight, I will start with just say R. Kelly. When I heard people say, well, should he be in jail for all that? And please, them little girls look grown and they knew what they were doing, and where are the parents? Like, that breaks my heart.
I am not protective of R. Kelly.
Completely. I know you're not. But when some of these comments are from Black women, and I'm looking at this like, you giving this girl, this baby girl, less grace, but you have it all for R. Kelly. So somewhere, I don't know.
How society makes that the permission structure. Like, like consider how those women then grew up, and that if I had to demonize my daddy, who did bad things to me, but also bought me some of the happiest Christmases I ever had, or, expressed love to me in a way that I knew he'd stand in front of a bullet and take it from. So, it's so complex and it's so nuanced, and where this stuff grows and comes out of, y'all, it's so deep, and it deserve a further enveloping. But I will just, Baby Boy is one of my least favorite movies ever in the world. My wife loves it.
Yes,
I know a lot of women who love it. You couldn't pay me to sit down. I love the actors. You can't pay me to sit down and watch it, because I think we have to do better for each other. But I also think we have to do better. I got to do better as Andrew Gillum. I got to do better as a Black man. I have to do better as a father. I have to do better. And all of those things can be a requirement of me that I put on myself, that are without regard to all the other influences, women who I'm married to, what I'm doing, have to, have going on in my life. The man that had to watch his woman be raped by Massa and see an illegitimate son, his biggest anger probably had resided with the fact that he couldn't protect her. Wasn't not even the progeny that flowed from that. But the thing that you feel most innately that you're responsible for, you feel it without ever being told, is to protect. Yeah. And that you can't protect, there is a shame that comes over you. That there are no words for. I know we got to wrap, but
yeah. Well, you say what that comes out of, and what I think that comes out of, because anecdotally, we will ask a baby girl who endured sexual abuse to shoulder the pain of her abuser.
For sure.
And what that comes from is, so anecdotally in our families, we'll say, okay, this happened, so now we got to keep this baby away from the uncle who touched her. Why? Because as sick and as subhuman as it is to abuse a child, Black people know that the white invented criminal justice system constructed from slavery incites a cruelty beyond even our imagination.
Come on.
So our thing is, we are going to protect this child. We're going to keep this man away, and we're going to keep it all out of the hands of white folks, because this man is messed up here. And we going to handle our justice our way, but we still not going to turn him over to y'all. That's and real. This baby girl is going to be safer in my arms, and we not going to turn her over to y'all. That is what that pain is born out of. Yeah. And that's a scary thing. So somehow we got to come. The system is up. That we can't keep living on that system. Yeah. So somehow we have to come together. I just want to thank y'all for just sharing this honesty, because that's a lot of people feel how Angela do. I feel how Angela does, but not everybody's brave enough to say, I don't believe all women. I can't believe all women. Some people are afraid of, the mostly white feminist mafia to jump out there and say a truth. And some people don't have the nuance, Andrew, to say what you're saying about, well, wait a second, let me just stand up here and say something on behalf of Black men. And it is not always in proximity to a Black woman. Like, we have a right to exist within our own skin. So these are the type of conversations that you can enjoy every week on Native Land Podcast. And this is why we ask you, please tell a friend, please subscribe, please be sure to listen. These mini pods drop every Friday. Our main episodes drop Thursday. You can also check out the solo pods with Angela and Andrew some days, y'all. I don't know, Mondays and Tuesdays.
Praise the Lord when they come. Praise the Lord when they come.
Just so you know, we do have solo pods. Sometimes we do have solo pods. Sometimes I was supposed to have one. Wait, Nick was like, okay, we're doing. I was like, yep, absolutely. Here comes me yesterday. I can't do it today. I just can't do it today.
I'm
gonna be
because you
ready.
rested and you deserve it.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize. You deserve that rest. You've been killing yourself with this tour, and you chose I hope anyway, that you chose to rest.
She was doing something else. She had to do working for somebody else, doing something else.
Whatever it was, I hope you were doing something that brought you joy because you deserve that.
I have a secret.
Okay.
I won't.
Better say it quick because we gotta go.
So deep, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Welcome home.
We love you back.
We
Welcome
love you too,
home,
AG.
y'all. I love this. And I love our conversations, as y'all can see, are not filtered. We say it. Yeah.
We need
All of
help.
us need therapy.
Help. You know what I was thinking about, Tiff,
we really
too?
do.
When you were talking about, you said you did say you were protective. Like, I was thinking about that time when Andrew was trying to say some crazy-ish he shouldn't say on a podcast.
Yes.
And we were like, no. What you mean to say is, what you actually said. Never mind.
I wear white hoods at home. Cut it. Production cameras, everybody
Angela's like, this is not doing what you think it's doing. Okay, Nick is on camera telling us we gotta go. Y'all can't see it at home. But Nick's face is right here going, get out. So we are going to, on that note, say welcome home, y'all, and we will see you back here next week. Tell a friend.
Juneteenth, everybody.
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.